What is up, everybody? You are listening, you are watching to the Constant Elevation Podcast. I'm your host, Gabe Rock. Hope everybody's doing well this holiday week. I'm actually recording this on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. We're actually going to be picking up Benjamin from the airport later tonight in Orlando. It sounded like he had a pretty awesome time hanging out with his grade school best friend, Kainoa, from Hawaii. They live in Oklahoma City now. And so he's been hanging out with their family. Shout out to Miss Wendy and the team for hosting him. And so, yeah, definitely he'll come back tomorrow night. We are going to be having a Hawaiian food Thanksgiving. We never really had, when I was raised, whatever, the traditional Thanksgiving food. I mean, I'm sure it was there, but I don't remember it. I remember going to Auntie Margaret's house and my grandma's house for Thanksgiving kind of stuff. And so we're having terry chicken, terry beef, mac salad. I got to marinate a bunch of stuff tonight. Probably gonna have butter mochi tomorrow night as well for dessert, and then rice and salad. So this will be good. I'm also going to be heading into AFTAC to do some holiday meal serving to the team that's going to be working the ops floor. It's going to be always grateful for them to man the watch so the rest of us can enjoy some time with our friends and family. So it'll be good to kind of pay it forward, hook them up with some holiday meals, and then we'll see how the rest of the weekend goes. Looking forward to it. Nothing crazy. I think we're still in preparation mode for Lana to come visit us in December. So looking forward to having her back in the fold. And then we have a lot of good stuff planned for that week when she's in town. Hopefully she's ready for it, and we'll have all the food and the good times. And it's going to be really good to have, like I said last week, the 4 ship back together. So very grateful for her to return home. So I started thinking exactly about like what I wanted to do with the show again. And normally so this is going to be season 8. And I always kind of listen to myself, my intuition, the energy in the world, as far as like what's happening and like what direction should I go? And because this is episode 150 of this show, I felt like this is going to be the appropriate time to actually not have the season finale, but the series finale. And so, yeah, I'm probably going to be closing shop on this endeavor that I've had over the last, weirdly, almost 5 years. And so that's kind of a trip, just thinking about that actually, no, a little bit over 5 years. And so just even looking at some of the numbers and some of those thoughts, I'm like, no, this is good. So I originally started this show in September of 2019. It was actually called Breaking Red Podcast. And so the reason why I chose the term Breaking Red, familiar in the Air Force, if you break the red line on the flight line, you're going to get in trouble. And I knew that I was going to be already talking about some subject matters, not like clickbaity kind of things, but just things that were on my mind that I believed, based because on my experiences, that I kind of had like a counter vision to what was going on. Maybe not a huge counter vision, but something at the point where I just have a different perspective on like traditional Air Force leadership. So I wanted to have a platform for me to just express myself. Previous to that, actually, I had a blog called Project Rise. And so that was where I did it in written form, as far as just kind of my thoughts. Part of it was because I was just being, I was tired of being asked the same questions and having to give same leadership answers. And so I wanted to kind of hone my thoughts. And so I went through the writing drill doing the blog, and then I posted those things. And when people asked me questions, I'd redirect them to my blog. So then I decided to go actually with the encouragement of some fellow teammates. So shout out Ski Dobson. Again, he was part of the original catalyst that challenged me to do it and felt like I was going to be a good host for it. Pushed me to create a podcast. And so Breaking Red was born. And that was the very first season of Constant Elevation. Like anything else, I learned as I went along. And so season 2 is when I transitioned into Constant Elevation. Just really started to kind of grasp and understand how I wanted to do this. And been having a lot of fun kind of just sharing my perspectives it was mainly supposed to be I branded it as a military leadership podcast, but then I also talked about fitness because fitness is still part of the military lifestyle. And so obviously as a CrossFit coach, I found another opportunity to kind of create content that meant something to me and was going to be value added to the audience. And so I started creating content like that. And so through iterations and through so many cycles of seasons, and usually the energy kind of led me towards, all right, I think I'm good to either take a break because the holidays are coming up or I was PCSing, or for some odd reason, I just knew that okay, that's going to be it for this season. And when I'm ready to come back, the energy in the world will tell me again, oh, it's time to get back on the mic. And now it's time to get it back. I didn't start doing this video version and the YouTube channel until episode 23, whenever that was. I'm not gonna look up the date, but if you go on the YouTube channel, you can find it. there's definitely some times I'm like, all right, cool. I basically used it as an excuse to do some tech refresh. So I bought this Sony camera and started buying all this lighting kind of stuff. And like, I got used to how to produce a video podcast, and then understanding, am I going to use a lapel mic, an actual mic? And so just kind of learning the background. That stuff was very fascinating. Basically just an excuse for me to do tech refresh and buy IT equipment. And then eventually I started to figure out how to do some interviews. And so I used different software. It was either Zoom when it was free, or I purchased some other stuff to kind of do some hosting episodes. And I like that. You know, it's kind of cool having a guest online, and people reached out to me, or reached out to them. Hey, do you want to be a guest on a podcast? I'm like, they're like, really? I was like, yeah, sure. I don't know. We're just talking. And a lot of times I would use it just to kind of have a external different perspective, but then, and also add my perspective to the conversation. I felt like those would be a good, good content for people to see. Just it's not only just my voice, but if you pay, the majority of my content is just me. And I think I did that for a reason, is because I'm very, I use this kind of as like a cathartic method to kind of organize my thoughts and emotions, and then try and do something and create it as a one take Jake kind of content. And the way I started doing this piece is I got very efficient how I could do content creation, I should say. And so I didn't get too much into the post-production as far as search engine optimization and trying to market it across the world. Like, no, I was comfortable just creating the content for myself. And that was kind of like my artistic portion of me, is like, no, I'm not creating this for, well, yes, I hope that people when they do tune in, and I get to share some sort of knowledge nugget with them, and if I can help, positively influence the audience in one way or another, I'm good for that. But I wasn't doing all of the typical social media marketing techniques. I wasn't trying to do clickbaity kind of stuff. I wasn't trying to do any sort of, I just wanted to be authentically me, as if you and I were just sitting here talking. And I just kind of give you thoughts off the dome. So that format actually kind of has still stayed pretty consistent through all of the season of Constant Elevation. Usually during all these episodes as well, I try and find some new music and some new video kind of stuff, because it's just fun, just kind of like just figuring out how I can be creative and what I'm feeling in the moment. So you'll start seeing stuff of like, influences of Wu-Tang Clan and Neon Genesis, and just stuff that inspires me. And that usually is a reflection of that time. So I can finally look back at some of the material and be like, oh yeah, I remember I was into that. I was very happy when I created that portion of this show. Also, along the lines, when I created the show, I used it as a platform to release the launch of my book, No Pressure, But Don't Screw This Up. So that's my, my unique perspective on approaching Squadron Command, the best job in the Air Force. And it was fun. It was fun to kind of use Constant Elevation to kind of keep on making content, stay focused on those pieces. Luckily, there was a great response to that. So I appreciate everybody who purchased the book and spread the word. And a lot of people, they've gotten connected with me just through the book or just a recommendation. And then usually through one-on-one conversations, we actually have a much better, I'm able to kind of give them additional mentorship and guidance, because I think that's going to be the delivery of this. And that's one of the reasons why I felt like this might be the time to, while I appreciate the platform of having a podcast and reaching out to masses, I don't necessarily need to do that anymore. I think part of my role in the Air Force is understanding my local areas that I can affect and having a really strong impact on that. So not necessarily quantity across the boards, across the world, across the Air Force, but quality, and focusing on those teammates that I'm fortunate enough to be surrounded by and get to lead with, that imparting some words of wisdom with them, but also letting them fly on their own is very, very important to me. And so that's when I'm dedicating my energy towards this. There has been some times where I felt pressure to be like, okay, cool, I got to come up with some kind of content, and I brought my camera equipment on the road and just trying to make sure I'm doing all this stuff. And it does take time, but I loved it. And I'm very grateful. And the other thing has started coming up, because this is the week of Thanksgiving. You're supposed to be thinking about the things you're grateful for. And I'm like, yeah, I'm grateful for everybody who's tuned into the show, kind of listen, whether it's the Air Force stuff or CrossFit stuff, whatever brought you into this avenue to listen to my words. I'm grateful for everybody who has reached out and said that I've had a positive impact on them. If you still know me and you can get access to me, by all means, I will never ever turn down a great conversation to try and help you figure out and give you some recommendations based on the encounters and mistakes that I've made, and then hopefully you can avoid those mistakes and chart your path even higher than that I've achieved. But yeah, it's been really, really fun doing this show, and I'm very proud of all the content that I've made. I'll figure out, I have all the OG content, all the videos and the audio. I might figure out something to do. It'd be really dope to just make like one big ass mixtape, one CD of just 150 tracks. That'd be more than one CD. I'd have multiple tracks, multiple CDs, I should say. But that'd be kind of cool. Maybe maybe I'll do like the Wu-Tang, like not the hidden out, but their special album. I'll move it onto CDs, delete all digital like artifacts of this. I don't think I could do that anymore on the internet. And then just have, I'm the sole owner of my content. That'd be pretty dope. Maybe I'll pass it on to my kids and they'll look at it and they'll be like, I don't know what to do with this, dad. But like, you're welcome. I'm just kidding. I would never do that. I don't think I would do that. But yeah, this has been a awesome ride. And so team, if you need anything from me, you can always reach out to me. I will leave my contact information down in the description. And last thing, as well as I'm going to release this on Sunday. So we're going to be moving into Cyber Monday kind of week. And so as I'm going to be shutting down this as well. If you head over to constantelevationstore.com and use the code Mahalo, you'll get yourself 50% off. I'm going to have that running for the first week of December. So again, constantelevationstore.com, use the code Mahalo for 50% off, and you'll be able to just, have a piece of history, maybe like a lowercase history, anything big, but like, no, I used to know a guy. He's this weird friggin' Asian guy that would talk about random stuff and probably had used spicy language than he probably needed to, but he did some good things. He tried to do good things, and if anything, gave some smiles, get some positive things to think about, and then left the world hopefully a better place than he arrived. So team, thanks again for tuning in for over all these seasons. 150 episodes have been made of this show, and I'm very, very grateful for everybody who tuned in. So for the last time, my name is Gabe Rock, and this has been Constant Elevation. Peace.